At what point did you realize that not only you should start a management company, but that you needed one? Was it just out of necessity?
No, we wanted a management company out of necessity for our own rentals.
Okay.
Now, that was, let's say, 2004, when we were really doing a pretty decent volume of flips. And we did interview several companies, but there were only like 3 or 4 names back then. There were very few companies that managed homes. And they were typically what we would call like a back office realtor that didn't want to do transactions. They can just do property management because it's easy. That was the
sustainable income. Yeah.
That was the generally how it worked.
Well, those people still exist, and a lot of them don't even, own a house themselves, but they're managing others from distance, which is wild to me.
Right.
We were talking last week at our masterclass event, which that will be dated because it'll be posted in like March.
Yeah.
But you were telling me your average owner ratio, property to owner.
Yeah.
Being that I was dumbfounded. It was under 2 or right
That's
around
right.
2.
1.89.
1.89.
Yeah. So our average client owns 1.89 properties.
And that number to me is just like eye-opening to where the need becomes that it's like, let's do this internally, where somebody is either at a place where, like, I'm full-time in real estate, obviously, as an agent, running the team and all those things. I don't see a need for a management company for myself because why wouldn't I have staff that can do it? Which I think is very different from, I forget the owner that it's like 2 properties is it. That's the management. Either, what do you see most of that being? Is that next up buyers that don't sell their house, or
it's just logistics?
Okay.
So 74% of our clients don't live in Indiana. So it's a logistical problem for
solution.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can't be, we're the boots on the ground, literally. So that's why they hire us. Now, a lot of our clients too may own in multiple states and they just don't want to deal with it as well.
Out of state investing, just from where I'm sure in the past few years, it's up. There's been an uptick for out of state investors.
Few is not accurate. It's been a lot of years.
Okay.
When did that started to change? Because I would assume in 2004, there was not many from California or New York. When did that started to change?
So it changed, and I don't know the date, but there's a famous video out there of Warren Buffett when he said, this is right after the housing crisis, so call it 2008, probably 2009, when he said, hey, to me, it could make a lot of sense to go out and buy a few 100,000 single family homes. And he was saying it because the money was cheap. You hedge inflation big time with that kind of interest rate. But then the famous line is, the problem is though the management, right? Because it's not like apartments where you've got 500 apartments in one spot. It's the management. It's hard. Well, literally right after that is when things changed, where we saw an influx of investors. To circle back, we saw the change at Sheriff Sale. That's where it first started. And I'll never forget when Scott called me and said, we didn't buy anything today. Because he would go to the sale, I would hang back and run numbers and send numbers down to Sheriff Sale through text. And that worked really well. And he called me and said, we didn't get anything. I was like, well, that's not good. And he's like, but there's some company down here that bought like 30 houses. And it was AH4R, America's Homes for Rent. So they came in and were buying dozens at Sheriff Sale and on open market. And then it all followed. So you had this mad rush. So institutions start, and then your Joe and Jill investors come in after that. So that's when we felt it.